Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines we have for you. There are a ton of new things happening every day in this space, and certainly for the XRP ledger. We got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, it's $1.74 trillion market cap for cryptocurrency. The market is up 2.8%, 43,100 plus for Bitcoin, 2,300 plus for Ethereum, $95.9 billion plus market cap for Tether. XRP is 52 cents, and the market is up 0.4% on XRP in the last 24 hours. We're up 4.1 on the 7-day. Now, very quickly, if you guys hear and I sound a little nasally or clogged up, I have to tell you I did have a surgery yesterday on my nose for a deviated septum. So it's going to sound a little goofy for a few days. So now I've got all this stuff stuffed in my nose. But we know what? We got to work. We got to make videos. We got to keep an eye on what's going on in the market. That's what we got to do. Everybody here needs to get the information they need to have every day. We're going to make sure that you get it. Just like this. It's not 94 days left until one of the most important conversations in crypto goes down at XRP Las Vegas 24. It's 93 days left.
The world's largest XRP Conference is only 94 days away. Hear from the influential voices in the industry, including Christopher Giancarlo, Digital Dollar Project, Harry Ann Boring, Digital Chamber of Commerce, Simon McLaughlin, Uphold, Kevin Maloney, I Trust Capital, Eleanor Terrett, Fox Business, and many more.
We're trying to fractionalize it to where anybody can have access to generational wealth by buying these fractional shares of property. So we're trying to restore that kind of access to it, so building generational wealth for anybody.
Early bird tickets ending soon on the Future of Digital Assets Benefit Dinner. Book your room now with the MGM Grand. Get your tickets now to XRP Las Vegas 2024.
Now we're talking. I tell you, super excited, and there's more to come, ladies and gentlemen. You still don't have everything yet, and there's such a great lineup already. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited for it. I can't wait to meet everybody there. Get your tickets. VIP is going to sell out first. I make sure I'm telling you that. It's not hype. It's going to happen. So if they want a VIP ticket, make sure you get it. All right, let's look at this because we know that there's a new book out here by Chris Dixon. It's called The Everything Token, and rightfully so. Shout out to DAI. Says if you followed ETHgate, then you know the more appropriate title for this book would be Own a Monopoly. And then here's Chris Dixon going on to making his rounds for his new book that's out. Take a listen to what he says.
So I had like 20 people, really smart people, a lot of them work with me on my team, read it, including like Dan Benet, Tim Roughgard, and like CS professors, right. Bill Hinman, law experts.
Oh, Bill Hinman, the guy who gave the free pass to Ethereum at the SEC, head of corporate finance division of enforcement. Well, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Yes, it is interesting. Now, why did you have Bill Hinman read that, Chris Dixon? Was it more just to proofread it and make sure that there wasn't any damning evidence in your book? Asking for a friend. Then here he is making more rounds. I don't need to play this, but he's talking about institutional acceptance of the ETF as a good thing, which it is, and we know that it is, and there will be multiple other products to come. However, there's another narrative out here, and we covered it over the last 2 days, Sunday and Monday, about the new governance proposals for the XRP Ledger Foundation. One of those suggestions was about member governance and about how there would basically be a certain amount of XRP that they would have to buy into in order to get a certain position and to try to keep an open governance and democratic situation. Now, these were mainly put forth as talking points just to start the conversation. This was put out by David Fueling. Shout out to David for that. And we saw David Schwartz, which we commented yesterday, who said much the same thing, that this is a great way to start a conversation. It doesn't mean anything's going to happen at this point, but a conversation has been started. Now, from that conversation being started, there have been other announcements that longtime developers that have been running nodes have decided to stop running nodes on the XRP ledger. Then there's been this fear narrative that's been created that the ledger will go down and that the ledger's going to die and then nothing's going to happen to the ledger. And I just have to say, I think that is the most ridiculous thing in the whole wide world. I remember a couple years ago, Tiffany Hayden tried this bullshit too. If you've been in this space for a while, this isn't the first time that this kind of nonsense has been kicked up. But that's okay. You know what? Because we've been beat up because we believe in something. We've been beat up because we know the potential of what Ripple has done to integrate XRP into the financial system along with their own suite of products. We've been watching all of that. But there's been a huge portion of people out here that get so frustrated because the market's been down for so long that now they want to start pointing out why it's going to fail. And they have the right to do so. But I do think that they're wrong. I think they're 100% wrong. And they're about to find out real soon. Because I said this and I made the point very clear, certainly yesterday and did on Sunday as well. Give us a free pass and watch how many developers flock to the network. Why are there so many people building on Ethereum? It's not because it's a superior technology. Right? No. Why are so many people building on Ethereum? Because it got a free pass. And nobody from Ethereum will ever come out and say, that's a lie, that didn't happen. Not Chris Dixon, not Vitalik, not Joe Lubin. None of them have come forth and said, I'm going to sue anybody who says that happened because it didn't happen. None of them have been able to address it because they know it's the truth. So we got to be careful out here because the closer we get to XRP's time, Ashley Prosper's absolutely 100% here, the stronger the FUD will become. And that's exactly what we're dealing with here. Then there was this post, which has been pulled down by Sean McBride. And it basically said, and I'm paraphrasing, because of all the FUD that was being kicked up about people, developers dropping nodes and those things. And essentially, Sean McBride came out, and Sean McBride made a post, and this is Sean McBride right here, shout out to him, ex-Google, ex-Amazon, ex-Ripple. And the post essentially said, anybody worried about the future of Ripple and XRP doesn't need to be worried. I can't say much more than that. I'm under NDAs. Shout out to you, Sean. And let us not forget the major accomplishments that have taken place thus far. XRP Ledger Clawback Amendment has over 80% consensus is in its 2-week period right now. If it continues to hold that for the rest of the 2-week period, it will become adopted to the ledger. And then what else do we have? Oh, there's a lot going on here. Cross-Chain Bridge Amendment now up for voting time to boot up the XRP Ledger EVM sidechain validator. Come on in. Shout out to Pyrrhus Technology here. They have been working very hard on exactly that, right? There are big things happening, ladies and gentlemen, and at just the right time. Look at this. Today, We'd Say Win says, I will install Ripple 2.0.1 on the XRP Ledger Labs validator and some of our full history pathfinding and submission nodes. I will closely monitor the performance, and if all fine, 1.5 weeks from now, I will change our vote on automated market makers to yay. And it's already over 60%. And I know another one that may be voting yay in the future very soon as well. Then there's this. Ashley Prosper again says, 2 validators have now voted yeah to the Automated Market Maker Amendment, XRP GOAT and FTSO EU. Let's show them some love, damn right. That brings us to 25 yays, just waiting for 4 more. And we know we get 1 more from We'd Say if everything goes right. And I know of another one, that brings us down to just 2 left. And I know another voter. So that's 3. And that would leave 1 left. So I know of 3 votes that are coming, if all things go well, leaving just 1 to get us to the 80%, right? Wonderful, wonderful what's happening here. Think of this, when all of these things are approved, and what the integrity and characteristics of the ledger will look like then. The capability, the functionality, it will be expanding ever more. That's so beautiful. Then there's this, going to the court side of things. If Judge Catherine Failure grants the motion to dismiss for Coinbase, the ruling could force the SEC to end its reign of regulation by enforcement against cryptocurrency. We have to watch these things extremely closely, and there's so many more events to watch as well. And this is to clear up very quickly here about the possible IPO for Ripple. Let's listen and get it right, because this has been manipulated a little or misinterpreted a little around social media about what Brad has said about filing the S1 and doing an IPO here in the States. Take a listen to this.
Recently, you may have read, we did a tender offer to our shareholders. We've now repurchased over $1 billion of stock from our shareholders. That's something that's important to us, quite frankly, because it is not an immediate term priority to go public. In the United States, trying to go public with a very hostile regulator that has to approve your S1, that doesn't sound like a lot of fun to me. Coinbase obviously had their S1 approved, and now the SEC is suing them for doing things that was outlined in their S1. Now, that, as I mentioned, there's a hearing tomorrow in the U.S. about some of that, but I think it's indicative of why would we want to subject ourselves to an SEC that is openly hostile to this industry.
So in terms of an IPO, an exit of some sort, is that sort of parked to the side at this point?
Yeah,
or are you looking elsewhere, outside the U.S. for a listing?
Yes to all of those. Okay. I don't think about an IPO as an exit. I think about an IPO as a step in the journey. Shareholder liquidity is important to me. We have investors that first invested in Ripple in 2012. So they've been in this deal for 11 and a half years. And so we want to provide that liquidity, which is one of the reasons why we've done these tender offers and now repurchased over $1 billion of stock. We have looked at other jurisdictions that have clearer rules of the road. But honestly, a lot of people go public because they need to raise capital. Yeah. Ripple's not really in a place where we need to raise capital. And so it is not a short-term priority. We're obviously keeping that option open, and we'll evaluate it as time continues. And we'll evaluate it again as we have new regulators sitting at the United States SEC.
And I guess some of it's market dependent as well. Last year was an interesting space in the tech world more broadly. There were a lot of secondaries, buybacks, but very few IPOs. The market wasn't obviously very great for them. So I guess it's also how the broader markets play out as well.
For sure, that's part of it. And not just the public markets, but also the crypto markets. And I think Coinbase's stock is in a much stronger position now than it was a year ago, but obviously well off its highs from 3 years ago when it went public. So it's just not a huge priority. We have a lot of capital, very strong balance sheet. We can continue to play offense through an acquisition point of view, invest in the business. As we started this conversation, I'm very optimistic about the crypto market in 2024 because of those things around putting compliance first, making sure we focused on solving real problems for customers and not just the speculative cycle. I think we'll put the whole industry in a really good trajectory. Recently,
I think it's a great point, and I think it's a great time to be highlighted with that point again and where he's at. Now, let's take a look at the list. Look at this list here. Shout out to Ashley Prosper again, who's just been on fire here. So we're 1 month into 2024, and here is a list of things to watch out for. Crypto regulations, FOMC meeting, Fed meeting, presidential election, Ripple case conclusion, Coinbase case dismissal, Binance case partial dismissal, the first crypto case filed in Supreme Court of the United States, possible war, cyber pandemic, AI danger, automated market maker on the ledger, clawbacks on the ledger, EVM sidechain on the ledger, hooks on the ledger, IPO craze, X payments, a new SEC chairman, Basel III endgame, final steps to FedWire. I think that's a hell of a list. 2024 is looking amazing. And, I want to say this for all of us. And by the way, all of us includes Bradley. Okay. I am not, this is not teacher to student. This is I'm in this too. Okay. It is nice to remind ourselves of all of these things because they're still in front of us. I think that this list is a great reminder of just exactly where we are currently in this space. And it's very important to constantly reassess where we are and make sure that we've not created some hypothetical or some speculative watermark that we should have been some other place other than where we actually are, right? And I know people get up every day and they get frustrated. I know people want when moon. I want it too. I am like you. There's no difference here, right? But one of the things I wanted to highlight today very quickly as we wrap this all together here is I want to remind people when you're looking at the price and you see things like $10 to $13 in 2024, or someone says $250 or $100 or $5, the price doesn't matter because the price hasn't moved. And people get frustrated. And they look at price every day, and we can tend to get frustrated. And I know it can happen to all of us. But I just want to say, no matter how great your portfolio looks, the greatest asset you have is you. It is ourselves, right? And if you're feeling frustrated about your portfolio, never forget that you don't have to stop working on you. If you have a great portfolio and you've built it and you have it and you're just waiting for when moon, don't forget to work on yourself. And that's a reminder I'm taking for myself. This is not me talking at anyone. This is advice for myself too, right? Because I know that this is going to take care of itself. Now, as a good steward of my finances and my investing, I monitor the market every single day. But I'm also working on me and my personal life. I'm also working on things that I want to be better at as a person, whether it's inside my family, as a friend, as a professional, whatever it is. I have pursuits and endeavors that entertain my mind when I'm not paying attention to the market and covering these things. So my life can feel full and fulfilled and engaged with my family and the people that I love around me. Because all of this means nothing if I have none of that. It's time for us to head into the Freedom Zone, ladies and gentlemen. And you're going to want to be in there with us today because I tell you, we got a big secret going on under the Freedom Zone. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. Join us at digperspectives.com. Come on in.